and thank you for joining us. President Trump has said one of his favorite words in the dictionary is tariff. And on Wednesday, we'll be hearing that word a lot. The president is set to unveil his long-awaited plan for broad reciprocal tariffs against other nations. The White House is planning a Rose Garden event at 4 p.m. Eastern to formally unveil his plan to the world. It's been a roller coaster month for the markets ahead of the announcement, including the S&P 500. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked Tuesday about Americans who may be concerned for their retirement savings or 401ks.
They are legitimate concerns, and the president takes those concerns very seriously, and he's addressing them every single day. Look at what President Trump did for you in his first term. He is working on implementing that economic formula every single day by lowering inflation, lowering energy prices, massive deregulatory efforts, while simultaneously effectively implementing tariffs.
CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us now. So, Olivia, what do we know about Wednesday's tariff announcement?
Well, Lindsay, the short answer is a lot is still very unclear about specifically what products are going to be under these tariffs tomorrow and the retaliatory tariffs that the president has promised. We're getting some new details, though. We do know what this event will look like tomorrow. It's 4 p.m. at the Rose Garden. Trump is going to be making this announcement. And we have some reporting that there will be steel workers and auto workers there, but no CEOs. Previously, we thought there would be CEOs at this particular event, as Trump has kind of billed it as Liberation Day, as we've been talking about. But what his focus on is specifically manufacturing and really the revitalization of manufacturing in the U.S. That's part of the reason why you're going to be seeing these steel workers and auto workers there tomorrow. But on the topic of what is going to be tariffed, we still don't quite know. There's some questions about whether there will be tariffs on pharmaceuticals, on lumber. We know the auto tariffs will be going into effect on Thursday of this week. But the thing I've been focused on is what they're calling the dirty 15. That's not a 15% tariff, but it's the 15% of countries that hold about 90%, or about $1 trillion rather, of the trade deficit with the U.S. And a lot of these countries are actually allies of the U.S. So think about the European Union, Canada, Mexico, Japan, Sweden. All of these countries that the U.S. has this trade deficit with could be on the table tomorrow to be the targets of these retaliatory tariffs. That's what we should be focused on tomorrow, what we should be watching for, when hopefully we're going to get a little bit more detail about what specifically is going to be part of this new broad tariff package that we're going to be seeing.
And President Trump has also previously said he's open to easing tariffs on China if they can reach a deal on TikTok. Now we're learning he'll consider a final proposal Wednesday about the fate of the app. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we are learning this. This is new reporting from our Jennifer Jacobs and Sarah Cook. The administration is finalizing plans for a potential investors for TikTok that could include BlackRock and Oracle. Now, amid all of this tariff talk, I've almost forgotten that the TikTok ban would go into effect this Saturday, April 5th. Remember back when the administration started, that ban was supposed to go into effect and Trump punted it 90 days down the road. Well, that date is coming, and that's on Saturday. So we're learning that there are conversations happening between Trump, between his national security team, between Vice President Vance, who Trump has tasked with kind of assembling this group of investors to own TikTok, that there are conversations happening there about what this could potentially look like. So those potential investors could be BlackRock, could be Oracle. There's other investors that would be those blue chip companies, private equity firms that would be a part of that acquisition of TikTok. A reminder, that deadline is on Saturday for the Chinese company ByteDance to sell their stake in TikTok, so that it can still remain on the U.S. market.
Before we let you go, a third law firm has cut a deal with the White House to provide millions in pro bono work for causes the administration reports. What can you tell us?
This is actually something that just came across right now. We learned that the law firm of Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher, also just known as Wilkie for short, reached a deal with the Trump administration to avoid penalties for any previous work that is seen as, anti of what the Trump administration stands for currently. Think about those issues like DEI. This deal consists of $100 million in pro bono work for legal services for causes that both the Trump administration and Wilkie support. So they've talked about a few things. Those include assisting veterans, Gold Star families, first responders, cases that combat anti-Semitism. But the important thing about all of this is they are just the latest law firm to give the Trump administration a lot of pro bono work. It's totaling about $250 million now, about $250 million in pro bono legal work from several law firms for the Trump administration.
Okay. Olivia, Rinaldi, thank you. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins us now to talk, what else? Tariffs. So as we've been reporting, we don't know all the details, but what are you waiting for? What are you expecting? And then also, what more can you tell us about the Dirty 15 that Olivia mentioned?
Sure. So what I'm looking for is what countries, what products, what industries.
Good
right?
questions.
Those are the three big ones.
Wow. I can't believe we still don't know.
I know. And so, to your point about the Dirty 15, so I go back to the U.S. Trade Representative, the USTR. They put out a list of 21 countries. This was towards the beginning of the administration for public comment. That was due by March 11th. And so those are clearly countries that they are reviewing when it comes to trade, which it would follow that these might be some of the countries that are included in what we see tomorrow. And so Olivia mentioned the Dirty 15. These are countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, India, Brazil that tariff goods from the U.S. already. And President Trump would be looking to sort of level the playing field.
Do we know yet what imports would be affected by that?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
But I will highlight the other thing I'm looking for is there any wiggle room? Are these just blanket and forever? Or is there a way for countries, maybe even companies that show commitments to produce in the U.S. to sort of get around those tariffs?
Okay. Canada and the European Union have already said that they're going to respond with tariffs of their own. What are the economic implications of a trade war?
You've heard this before, no one wins. When you have tariffs and retaliatory tariffs just going back and forth, you have higher prices. You have potential job losses in the industries that are impacted. You have less business investment and then lower economic growth. That's lower GDP. And I highlight what happened to farmers back when China and the U.S. were just going tit for tat back under Trump's first administration, and they just lost billions of dollars, and vice versa. There were industries in China that also lost billions of dollars.
When it comes to the tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports, we've discussed those would be on goods that are covered by the USMCA, which replaced NAFTA. Are there penalties for the president to go against this agreement?
So technically, yes, there's a sort of arduous process. Let's say one of the members, like a Canada or Mexico, has a grievance. They would file that. Then there would be a consult review followed by a panel review, and then it would go to potential penalties, like in the form of, a monetary penalty or losing the ability to trade freely for certain goods. Likely, you're just going to see Canada or Mexico slap retaliatory tariffs.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, Kelly O'Grady. Appreciate it.